A warm welcome, my dear 1000 PS viewers from the International Motorcycle Exhibition in Milan, where this year we have once again put together a classic retro scrambler special for you. Of course, there will also be Adam's walk around and naturally a few topics will crop up twice. But today we want to introduce you to a few scrambler bikes and classic bikes in particular, and we are kicking off straight away at the company BSA, the heritage brand that now, after roughly, well, more than half a century, really wants to get going again. The heritage brand BSA is launching with new models that will be handled by the KSR Group as distribution partner in Germany, Austria and Greece. Very briefly on the history. BSA was founded in 1861 and primarily focused on designing firearms for the British military. In 1903, it then entered motorcycle production, and in 1950, BSA became the world's largest motorcycle manufacturer. Due to Japanese competition, the company went under in the 1970s and production was halted in 1973. And in 2016, the revival succeeded thanks to the Indian conglomerate Mahindra. And in 2021, a new era began with the restart and production in Great Britain using modern technology and retro design. Standing here in front of me is the BSA Gold Star 650, a comfortable, characterful retro bike. And at the same time, the flagship of the relaunch. 652 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled single cylinder with 45 horsepower and a stout 55 Newton meters. Ideal then for twisty country roads and Sunday outings. The look is classic. A round headlight, a gleaming tank, Brembo brakes and Pirelli tires. 213 kilograms ready to ride, 780 millimeters seat height, and from 7,799 euros in Germany. It is available in various colors: red, tan silver, midnight black, highland green, shadow black, so there really should be something for everyone. Another little gem is the Scrambler 650, which relies on the same single cylinder as the Gold Star. The seating position is of course different because I have a high handlebar. I also have a taller perch thanks to more suspension travel. I have a more robust chassis and a flatter steering geometry. And that makes the bike suitable for off-road use as well. Naturally, you also get the chunkier Pirelli Scorpion tires, and the whole thing comes in a stylish Scrambler look at around 6,999 euros in Germany. The seat height is a proud 820 millimeters and the weight is 218 kilograms. And it comes in 3 colors. I am sitting here on the Raven Black, but there's also a version in gray and one in yellow. Here we are at the Bantam 350. It picks up where the legendary Bantam D1 from the year 1948 left off. Pure, authentic and without frills. 4-stroke, single cylinder, liquid cooled, 334 cubic centimeters, 29 horsepower, 30 Newton meters. We have a 13-liter tank, a moderate seat height of 800 millimeters, and the thing weighs 185 kilograms and is supposed to be available for a sensational 4,999 euros. They were already briefly on display in 2024. Now they are production ready and will come to market next year. The 2 electric bikes from Royal Enfield, Flying VC6, C for classic look, and Flying VS6 S for Scrambler. Yes, from 16 years of age, you can ride it with an A1 license. It has roughly 15 horsepower of continuous output. The motor is ideally positioned in front of the rear swing arm. The power is then transmitted by a belt. There is cruise control, there is a reverse gear, and there is also energy recuperation under braking, which is intended to protect the battery. Lean angle detection, so despite the classic look, you have the full suite of technology in there. Cornering anti-lock braking system, and also an innovative chassis with a forged aluminium fork at the front, and the mudguard is said to be movable. We can only surmise that right now, but they have clearly put plenty of thought into it. Yes, charging can then be done via a household socket. The range is said to be very high. Unfortunately, I do not yet have any figures for that. Everyday usability is a big priority and the price is supposed to come in under 7,000 euros. On the Flying VS6, so on the Scrambler variant, we probably have the same figures as far as the motor and battery are concerned. But up front, we obviously have a different fork, and the drive on this model is via a traditional chain. Golden fork, golden rims, those naturally stand out. A proper Scrambler look? Yes, I am curious to see how it will land on the market. An absolute surprise was the presentation of the new Royal Enfield Bullet 650. There was a teaser clip, but there was no press release, nothing at all. And there it is. It was published and presented just a few minutes ago. Technically, it is apparently based on the classic 650. That means we can expect roughly 46 horsepower and 52 Newton meters. But in terms of its name and its appearance, it clearly takes its cues. And I have been told that the Bullet is also a very important model for Royal Enfield because basically it was the very first bike that Royal Enfield brought to market back in the day. A few smart details certainly include the chrome handlebar, the abundance of chromed switchgear and little touches and adjustable brake levers. So comfort has also been catered for alongside the looks. And we are very excited to see how this bike will fare in our next classic bike test. Akrapovic is something like the holy grail among exhaust manufacturers, for motorcycle makers, for sports motorcycles, for naked bikes. But they have something for Scrambler programs as well, and that is where we have now stumbled upon this little gem. For the Triumph Speed 400 and Scrambler 400X, there is this titanium exhaust, a slip-on, 1.5 kilograms lighter than the original exhaust. According to the sign, 1 horsepower more and 2 Newton meters more. Yes, let us assume that is true. But in truth, when you buy an Akrapovic product, you can be sure the engineers have really squeezed out the maximum. And that at the very least, you do not lose any performance compared with the original exhaust. And you simply enjoy the weight advantage and probably also the rich sound that comes out the back. The Ducati Scrambler Night Shift has received a color update in emerald green. What remains is the classic Café Racer look, with a flat handlebar, bar-end mirrors, a beautifully quilted seat, number boards, and black spoked wheels. Inside is the revised Desmond Duo Twin with 803 cubic centimeters, 73 horsepower, and 65.2 Newton meters. Full electronics package with ride-by-wire, 2 riding modes, traction control, as we know it from Ducati. And despite all that, the bike has become 4 kilograms lighter than its predecessor. Ducati now quotes 182 kilograms ready to ride. I am unfortunately not allowed to show you the seat height right now because the bike is displayed on a plinth here. It is already a bit of a miracle that I am allowed to stand up here. It comes to 795 millimeters. However, there is a high seat at 810 millimeters and also a low seat at 780 millimeters seat height. In Germany, it is available immediately from 12,890 euros. A Scrambler is a road-legal motorcycle with off-road genes, mostly based on a roadster or a classic. Chunky tires, a high-mounted exhaust, a wide handlebar, and a pared-back look that harks back to the converted off-road bikes of the 1960s. And yes, there are 2 categories of Scramblers. First, the appearance category. They look as if they have come straight out of the Sahara, but they start sweating at the first curb. They are perfect for small wallets and the cafe, less so for the rough stuff. And then there is the substance category, real Scramblers, tough, nimble, with proper kit for getting stuck in and enough ground clearance for the Gobi, for real rubble, and if need be, the zombie apocalypse. And that is exactly why we are here at the Triumph stand, taking a look at the new Scrambler 900 and 1200. That is how it is. I have just taken a seat on the Scrambler 900, modernized with Showa suspension, an aluminium swing arm, spoked wheels, and a new braking system. We also have a new 12-liter tank, slimmer mudguards, an aluminium headlight, a split seat, light-emitting diode lighting, new heat shields, and the unchanged 900 cubic centimeters Bonneville twin with 65 horsepower and 80 Newton meters. Yes, the suspension, as I said, has received a new Showa upside-down fork. At the rear, there are adjustable piggyback shocks and the brake is beefy too. A 320mm disc up front with a radial 4-piston caliper. Electronics are the full package. cornering anti-lock braking system with an inertial measurement unit, ride-by-wire, 3 riding modes, lean-sensitive traction control, and also a new thin-film transistor combo instrument with optional Bluetooth, universal serial bus Type C, and cruise control. Yes, it comes in various colors. I am sitting here on matte khaki green. There are other colors as well, as I said. Absolutely premium is the Scrambler 1200 XE with uncompromising off-road focus and classic design. A 47mm Showa upside-down fork, new Erlins piggyback shocks with 250mm of travel, an aluminium swing arm with a long lever arm, the classic Scrambler silhouette, a 21-inch front wheel, a Monza tank cap, and the 1200 cubic centimeters Bonneville twin with 90 horsepower and 110 Newton meters. And no corners cut on the brakes either. Twin 320mm Brembo Stylema at the front to 55mm Nissan at the rear. Plus the full electronics package with cornering anti-lock braking system, lean-sensitive traction control, 6 riding modes including Off-Road Pro, a color thin-film transistor display, a universal serial bus port, and backlit switches. Yes, cruise control is also standard on this bike. Many new colors and golden accents. NX C lettering and aluminium number plates included. And as the grand finale, I've now taken a seat on the Triumph Bonneville T120 Black. It remains the stylish icon among Triumph's modern classics. Now more advanced, smarter, and the 2 compliant new features include cornering ABS, traction control with IMU, cruise control as standard, riding modes, a USB-C port. All those modern electronic features are now included. What has stayed the same is the engine, a 1200 cubic centimeter twin producing 80 horsepower and 105 Newton meters of torque. It now meets Euro 5 Plus standards and is also available with an A2 restriction kit. The chassis has also been updated, a new steel frame, a seat height of 790mm, KYB fork and twin shocks, Brembo double discs at the front, and a Nissan brake at the rear. So what's the difference between the T120 with chrome parts and the T120 Black? Mainly the chrome details and the darker finish combined with the brown seat. Both bikes are available in different colors. In Germany starting from 13,795 euros and in Austria from 15,395 euros. Blimey, I do not know about you, but I am already pretty hot and bothered after all these bikes. And somehow you think a Scrambler would be cool, but I already have 2 bikes. Yes. And then the rule came back to me, the one and only rule. And it goes N equals N plus 1. Where N is the number of bikes that you ought to own by definition, and the N on the right-hand side is the number that you currently own. Which means you can, with a clear conscience, always fall back on the rule. Because with this rule, you must always buy one more bike than you own. Right then, you can go shopping now. And your other half, she will understand. Because N is N plus 1. That is how aphoristic it is. When it comes to retro bikes, Kawasaki must not be missing, because they have relaunched their Z900 RS and DSE variant. I have just taken a seat on the Z900 RS, the retro sports bike. It is an homage to the legendary Z1 with more power, better electronics, and, as they say, an even more iconic sound. Unchanged is the 948 cubic centimeters engine with 116 horsepower and 98 Newton meters. The engine control unit has, however, been revised. There are new camshafts, adapted intake trumpets, and optimized airbox for more even torque delivery. And the sound of the new megaphone end silencer is also meant to recall the 4-in-1 system of the legendary Z1. As far as the electronics are concerned, we are up to the latest standard with a 6-axis AMU, cornering anti-lock braking system, quick shifter with blipper and cruise control. Yes, we have an upright, relaxed seating position, a new comfortable seat. Seat height is 835mm as standard. There is also a low seat with minus 25mm. The tank holds 17 liters and the bike weighs 216 kilograms ready to ride. And for the true connoisseur, there is also the Z900 RS in the SE variant in the Firebolt design with golden components and a seat height of 845mm. Both models, Standard and SE, are also available as a 70 kilowatts version for the A2 license. With the Honda CB 1000F, the Japanese bring along a modern 4-cylinder roadster with retro charm. Particularly lovely, the round headlight with twin horns, the tank in the bolder design of the famous 24-hour race, and stripes and colors in an 80s look. The basis is the modified pure 4-cylinder from the 2017 Fireblade with 999 cubic centimeters, 122 horsepower and 103 Newton meters. From a technical perspective, the camshafts, the intake and the gearbox have been revised, and the whole package delivers cultured pull and a silky sound from low revs. The twin-tube frame is made of steel. We have a longer rear subframe, a fully adjustable 41mm upside-down fork from Showa, a Pro Link shock, and a seat height of 995mm. Full electronics package, wheelie control, cornering anti-lock braking system, ride-by-wire, 3 riding modes with road sync, thin film transistor display, Bluetooth navigation, everything included. The weight is 214 kilograms. The Lady, unfortunately, does not come with it. Last but not least, I would like to introduce you to the Yamaha XSR900GP. Its paintwork and number boards hark back to the great 500 Grand Prix Yamahas of the 1980s. And it is a tribute to Kenny Roberts. Inside works the well-known 889 cubic centimeters CP 3-cylinder with 119 horsepower and 93 Newton meters. And the bike features modern technology such as an adjustable KYB suspension, a 6-axis inertial measurement unit, cornering anti-lock braking system, and a quick shifter. The chassis has also been tweaked compared with the base version in terms of geometry for greater stability, and therefore it received a longer trail and wheelbase. It is available in several color variants, here in Legend Yellow, but also in Legend Red and in Power Grey. The recommended retail price in Germany, including ancillary costs, is 14,149 euros. So that is it again. That brings us to the end of our retro roundup. I hope there were a few treats in there for you. What was your favorite? Or do you still have questions about the individual models? Then please post them below in the comments and please give me a thumbs up. And if your fingers are itching and you want to buy a bike, but you're unsure, then always think of the golden formula N equals N+1, because that way everyone goes along with it. Thanks for watching, stay healthy, take care, see you next time.